is there a Canadian dream? And what is the ideal financial situation that an average immigrant in Canada will aspire to?
The first stage of my Canadian dream was to escape Nigeria.
It's a dream that is diminishing, but it's still there. You can still sleep and dream as much as you want.
The next subset of my Canadian dream in the retirement section is, where do you want to retire? As I am now, I ideally would not want to retire in Canada.
If you follow competition in Canada, you will die. And while you're dying, those people you are competing with do not even have the resource to help you.
Right now, if you factor in inflation, you need nothing less than 2 million Canadian dollars.
Dream is free. To have electricity 24/7 is fantastic. I live in my own house. I live in my own house. Look at my mouth. I live in a house that the bank allows me to live in. It's not my house because the bank can wake up any day and take it. So it's not my house. Even the car I drive is not my own. The bank can take it any day from me.
Emeka, before I go to the our final round of questions for the night, for both of you, I saw your reaction to what Chibike said, and I don't know if you want to just touch on it a bit. He talked about the war, and I call it the war of rationality and logic on one side versus sentiments and emotions on the other side. And according to him, as a Nigerian, a married Nigerian coming from Nigeria, the side that belongs to the sentiments and emotions always wins that war. What's your take on that before I go on the final question?
Well, Chibuike here is one of the most logical and rational people that I've met in my short life. And he's somebody you can go to now and he will, he's like, Mokem, you are being emotional, stop. You keep your eyes on the ball. Now, Chibuike in his rationality and logic will also tell you that rationality and logic has never won against sentiment and emotion. If you know where it has won, show me. It's that because even in your logic and rationality, if it is reviewed critically, you might also see some form of sentiment and emotions at its base. So how do you, like what he's saying, to break it down, there's this untold competition people put themselves into. My neighbor, they don't factor in, we earn the same amount. These people earn the same amount. They don't factor in that both of us, we came and we went to school, we're paying student loan. That doesn't matter. What matters is that Okeke and Okafor, that we came together. Okeke and Okafor came with their own proof of fund, $50,000. They were working in oil and gas. They had saving and all of that. So they just came in here. This $50,000 that we have, let's just go and do down payment and just build from there. You didn't come in with anything, but you came in with Okeke and Okafor, and they have bought a house now. So you want to go and buy a house too. That's competition. That's something people need to sit down and accept. Life is lived according to where your level is. Find your shelf and hang your coat there. Move on with your life. If you follow competition in Canada, you will die. And while you're dying, those people you are competing with do not even have the resource to help you. Here's the thing. You come to me now, you say, I beg, lend me $10,000. Yesterday, I went to CIBC to get a Costco credit card. GBK is laughing. The household income, blah, 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 blah. They said, oh, you qualify for 10,000. I'm like, what? Just like that? Yeah, they gave me a credit card, $10,000. Okay, 22%. That's what I will take and give you. Like, how will you pay the 22% that is ringing on my head? So, please, don't even ask me. I'm not going to go and insult another person by asking them, please lend me 10,000. Where will he get it from? So, this is those sentiment. Logic and rationality are fantastic tools, but sentiment and emotion will always win. That is why our wives always win. So if you don't listen to them. That is your problem.
Interesting. Oh my goodness. Sentiment and emotion will always have a day. Now, on the final note, thank you. On the final note, um, they talk about there's this thing called the American dream, and I don't know if that still exists. Many Americans, at least in the last couple of years, complained that where's this American dream? There's a picture of a family with a beautiful house with two cars, and they can go on vacation and everything. So my question is first and foremost, is there a Canadian dream? Has there ever been a Canadian dream? And what is the ideal financial situation that an average immigrant in Canada will aspire to, in terms of, okay, what kind of money do you think you want to make as a couple, as an individual? And also, where is that place? Is it a particular province or city that you will be living in that will say, okay, well, I believe this is utopia, so to speak. This is the Canadian dream. So that does that exist? And if it does exist, what kind of thing is it? What are we looking at in terms of numbers and in terms of the reality? Chibai, so this is the final question so that we can wrap up. Thank you.
All right. So I don't know what the Canadian dream for Canadians who were born in Canada is. Never bothered asking. For me, I think, my Canadian dream as a Nigerian immigrant is in stages. So for me, the first stage of my Canadian dream was to escape Nigeria. That one has been achieved. Now, my next phase in the Canadian dream is divided into two. I would say I'll look at it from three major perspectives, because I have, as someone who is in my early 40s, I have, I would say my graph is at best peaking now. So the next thing is a drop, right? So ultimately, the target is, what does retirement look like for me? So if retirement is my Canadian dream, I would say I want to have a fulfilled retirement. That would be my Canadian dream. So what does that mean for age? So what is my ideal age for retirement? So for me, for example, I would say anything older than 60 would be a failure in my Canadian dream of retirement age. Anything earlier than 50 will mean that I met my target. Earlier than 60 will be I met my target early. Because I think at 60, you still retain a little bit to enjoy life, but at the same time, you have lost your inkling for some of those other little mundane things that really don't matter. That's what I think. And with the way I'm going now, I think that would really align, because even to go outside is a problem. Some of my close friends will tell you, to go outside now is a problem, even in the summer. When I think of my couch, think of my bed, I just don't feel the motivation to come out. Now, very few people, they bring me outside now. I don't even watch TV. I don't even watch movies anymore. Even the abroad movies, I rarely watch them, because if it's not live soccer, nothing really holds my interest in the TV anymore. And this is from somebody who, when I was in my 20s, will come back from banking work that was stressful, watch series movies till around 4, 5, 6, take like 1 or 2 hours of sleep, get up and be at the office by 7:30, and I'll still function properly. But so that's the first stage, the ideal age for retirement, as like my ideal Canadian dream age of retirement. So for me, 60, before 60, I met my target, I exceeded my target. 60 met my target. Beyond 60, I didn't meet my target. That's my own calculation. That's one. Two, the next phase, the next subset of my Canadian dream in the retirement section is, where do you want to retire? As I am now, I ideally would not want to retire in Canada. Not that Canada is not great. Canada is a fantastic place to retire. I just feel that I have spent a large part of my life in Africa, and I just don't feel like I don't know what retirement will look like for me in a land of sojourn. If I had come here when I was 12, 13, maybe I would have put my roots down here and I wouldn't feel like some sort of stranger. But having come here at 34, 35, I've built some bonds. I've put down roots in that continent of Africa. It's just hard for me. It's just hard for me to see myself enjoying retirement in Canada or in any European country or even Asian country. It has to be Africa for me. So if I see myself at 60 retired and with not living in Africa, for me, I haven't met my Canadian dream. So for me to have met my Canadian dream, it would have been that on or before I'm 60, I would have decided on the country where I want to retire in Black Africa, made either investments or built a property there, visited there once in a while, and I have set up shop somehow in that African country of choice for where I will retire and live out the rest of my days. So that's that. Then the third thing is, how much are you looking at to make that gives you confidence that your retirement would be at your own terms? Because our parents did what their generation did, which is spend all you can to give these children the best training you can give them, in hopes that when you are old and frail, they will step in and support you. We may still have that inkling for our parents. I'm not sure our children have that for us. They are Canadian. They have spent a large part of their life in Canada. It would be risky for me to hope that my Nigerian culture of supporting my parents would be carried on by my children. That would be setting myself up for some serious failure, because as angry as you are, if that is not the culture they grew up seeing, they may not imbibe that. You hope they remember that. You pray they do that, but you don't plan for that because they may not. So having said that, how much is what you will make, or what you can, or money that you can employ? How much is the money you can employ that would be generating the stipends you need to live a fairly comfortable life in your retirement? Right now, if you are using Canadian dollars to calculate it, right now, if you factor in inflation, you need nothing less than 2 million Canadian dollars. Especially since you don't want to retire in Canada. Maybe if you want to retire in Canada, you need less. But if you want to retire outside Canada, maybe in Africa, that's my own target. No less than 2 million. That 2 million must be employed to be making stipends that can help me survive wherever I am in Africa. So that's the thing. What is the Canadian dream in retirement age? What is the Canadian dream in where you want to retire? And what is the Canadian dream in how much you feel you need to retire with that would enable you live a sustainable, respectable retired life? So that's where I put, that's how I frame my Canadian dream, you know. So yeah.
Thank you so very much, Chibike, for that very, very clear description of your definition of the Canadian dream for you as a person. So thank you so much. So Emeka, your thoughts as we wrap up.
So is the Canadian dream, is it still alive? What is it, and is it still alive? Yeah, it is. It is. As much as it's a dream that is diminishing, but it's still there. I mean, you can still sleep and dream as much as you want. Your dreams and reality may differ, but that Canadian dream, I mean, to
Dream
have
is free. Dream is free.
yeah, dream is free. To have electricity 24/7 is fantastic. That's part of the dreams. I know that if Nigeria manages to have 24/7 electricity, our economy could double in size based on the industriousness of Nigerians. So, I mean, like I said yesterday, I went out there and I got a credit card for $10,000. I could have lied on the application and said my household income was 300,000. I don't think they even check. They would give you the money. Why? Ooh, it's your business. Whether if you use it and you don't pay it back, that's your business. So the dream is alive. There's a lot of people who did, I don't know what they did. They call it LSSC, and a lot of people got lines of credit, put it into that. It disappeared. It didn't come back. That's a Canadian dream. So, you know, education is a Canadian dream. You can come here. There's fantastic universities that you can go to, and you get that education. It's part of the dreams. For me, my moving to Canada was economic. So I'm on route to, you know, achieving that. I'm self-sustaining. I live in my own house. I live in my own house. Look at my mouth. I live in a house that the bank allows me to live in. It's not my house because the bank can wake up any day and take it. So it's not my house. Even the car I drive, it's not my own. The bank can take it any day from me. But, you know, all things being equal, you have a roof over your head. You can call me now and say, let's go and drink. I'll sit down and I'll pay for the drink. Whether I pay it from the credit card or from my debit card, the most important thing is that I'm paying it. So the dream is alive. There's still more to look forward to compared with where Nigeria is. I've stopped making the comparison between Nigeria and Canada because I live in a country that has existed for over 150 years. And Nigeria is still, we're not even 70 years old. So there's, you know, the time difference that we require to get to where we are. It's just that we don't need to spend all that time because if people have done it before, we just need to copy. But that dream, it's alive. People who, to pursue the Canadian dream, you need to come in here the right way. If you're coming through the window, that's your business, but that's not the topic of this conversation, even though it ties into how well you sleep to have that Canadian dream. Because if you're sleeping on the street, I don't think your dream will be about, you'll be dreaming of witches and wizards, but, you know, and it's still beneficial to come here. The ideal financial situation for an immigrant, have a job. It doesn't matter what it is. Come in, have a job, start from somewhere. Oh, you see people who say, with my PhD, this job is beneath me. Okay, no problem. Until your bills show up, go and tell the bill that you have PhD. So start from, it doesn't matter where. Start from there so that when they ask you, where is your Canadian experience, you can show it. Oh, I've been, even if it's volunteering you're doing it, it all counts, you know, because when you are told to when you are asked to show your Canadian experience, you don't really understand it until you've had that experience. That's when you understand why they ask that. Why are you not at work? Oh, the snow is falling. That's why I didn't show up. Okay. Your supervisor will say, no problem. Especially if you're still on probation, we decided to go a different way. there was a story Chibike told him. They will find a beautiful, like you will listen and say, is it me they're describing like this? Wow, but you don't have a job anymore. So, those kind of things. So you need start from anywhere, then build. You can still get to where you need to, but start from somewhere. We forget where we need to start, and we're looking at where we have to get to. If you manage your life well, I can't say you need to make $100,000, because here there's people now who don't even want to make more money. If they work in a way that they don't get promotion at work, why? They don't want to leave their tax bracket. Leave me alone in my tax bracket. Wow, you did excellently well. Blah blah blah. We are moving your salary from 120 to 150. Obeni, mind yourself. Stop that. If it's placed, stop it. Why? Because their taxes, they will actually earn less with the promotion. Yeah, you move them from a tax bracket to a higher one. The government will take more for it. So I don't need your salary increment. I am fine where I am. Leave me alone. And they are fine. They live their life, manage their credits, pay back what they have to pay back, go on vacations, enjoy their lives, and all of that. Me, personally, I would want to, if I can, retire back to Nigeria, but I'm still looking at that. I'm still looking at myself while I'm looking at that, my decision, and looking at Nigeria and asking, are you sure you are well? But, it is hoped that, because we can't all lose hope. Hopefully, one day we'll wake up, and maybe in my 97th year of life, if I get that old, and Nigeria will be better. Would it be beneficial to me? No. So you have to, make certain plans to find a serene place. Anybody that is Nigerian that is telling you they want to retire in Canada is either suffering from delusion, or they have a plan that they don't want to share. This cold here is serious. The cold here, all the pains. We played football in Nigeria. I don't know if this happens to you. In winter, all the pains I have in my body just flare. I'm like, God, who did I offend? You wake up in the morning, you can hear your bones.
I stopped playing soccer, whether playful or serious match, or I stopped playing like 3 years ago. Like the bones I can't handle it. It's a risk. Like in Nigeria, you can enjoy yourself and you can limp to work and nobody cares, as long as your hands are up. If you limp to work here, they will still send you home. And still they will, in the guise of that they care about you, that day will still be deducted from your pay because you did not work. They sent you home, unless you are taking it off one of your sick days.
Which is still you paying. If you take it from sick day,
if you have a job that has insurance coverage. If you have a job that don't have insurance coverage and you wound yourself,
you're in trouble.
And nobody sent you for.
You're in trouble.
You're going to take money from that your little savings to go and treat yourself.
Yep.
Because yes, the doctor will evaluate you free, but the medications they will write for you to take is not free, sir.
The GP, the general practitioner will see you. But if you need special care, it is 2 years wait.
You wait for 2 years. So I just wanted to mention that, because it's not like you're not playing soccer because you don't love soccer anymore. It's just that you're already thinking about the consequences. If I wound myself, do I go on? If you wound yourself to the level where you go on short-term disability, instantly
your income drops.
You're fine. You're okay to go for short-term disability. That's fine. But it means that if you go on short-term disability, we'll start paying you 75% of your earning.
And then it goes on your record. When they want to decide who to promote, if you want promotion, he went on short-term disability for they push you to one side. So that's serious. That's play. So this cold, we are still in early 40s. By the time you get to 50, and you are looking at the people who are at 60, they're not enjoying the cold. So you know within you that you have to make serious plans to not be here. You don't want to be here at 70 in this cold. My brother, I don't wish anybody that. I hope that everybody plans their lives in such a way that at 70 you can, if it is Nigeria, fine, go there, stay there. I mean, if you get your pension, $1,000 a month, whatever you exchange it to, you should be fine in Nigeria, but not here. Don't do that to yourself. So yeah, that's that for me.
Wow,
So
wow, wow.
the best province to live in, as long as you're in Canada, manage your life the way, because Canada has this thing called equalization system, where they try to maintain cost of living across the board in all the provinces. So earn, spend like as you earn is my last thing here. Don't do pass yourself.
Wow, 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 wow. Don't do past yourself and spend like you earn. Mm, wow. And also the insights on retiring in Canada as someone who came to Canada at a later stage of their life. That's I'm sure many people who watch these, many African immigrants in Canada or Nigerian immigrants in Canada will be able to relate to many of these points. So on these notes, wow, I want to thank you, Chibike. Thank you, Uncle Peter. Thank you so much for these insights into what it really is in terms of money and finance and everything, all in between for people and especially for immigrants in Canada. I'm sure those who are currently in Canada now will be nodding their heads and say, yes, I can relate. Oh, this is true. This is true. Wow. And then people who are back home in Nigeria who are thinking about this have a broad picture and better understanding of this. So I want to appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I wish you a very pleasant weekend and
Thank you.
wonderful rest of the summer.